Now, we need to multiply decimals by 100. So the way we do that is that we write out the decimal, so 0.8 here, and then we copy down the decimal point. Now when we multiply by 100, digits move 2 squares to the left. So we can copy this 0 down 2 squares to the left, and do the same with this 8. But now we have an empty square before the decimal point, and we know that the place value column before the decimal point is the ones place value column, and we can't have an empty ones column, so we need to write a 0 in this empty square. Now we have the decimal point on the end of our number, and that means we have a whole number. So our answer is 80, because we can ignore zeros at the start of a whole number. All this 0 tells us is that we don't have any hundreds, but just writing the number 80 tells us that as well. Now the reason we move the digits 2 squares across when we multiply by 100 is because multiplying by 100 is like multiplying by 10 and then by 10 again. We know that when we have 10 of something, we move to the place value column to the left. So when we multiply by 100, we're multiplying by 10 and then again, so the digits are moving 2 squares across. This is quite easy to remember if you spot that the number 100 has 2 zeros, so the digits are moving 2 squares. And when we multiply by any number larger than 1, the number gets bigger, and we make the number bigger by moving to the larger place values, so moving to place values to the left. Now we have 0.06 times 100, so we write out the number and copy down the decimal point. We move each digit 2 squares across, and that gives us 006 and then a decimal point on the end. If the decimal point is on the end with nothing after it, we have a whole number. So our answer is 6 because we can ignore zeros at the start of a whole number. Now we have 0.86 times 100. We write the number out, copy down the decimal point, and move each digit 2 squares to the left. That gives us our answer of 86. And you'll notice that 86 is the same as 80 plus 6. And that's because the number we were multiplying, 0.86, is the same as 0.8 plus 0.06. So for this question, we've still multiplied 8/10 by 100, just as we did in the first, and we've multiplied 6/100 by 100, just as we did in our second question. Now, 6.8 times 100, we write the number out, copy down the decimal point, and move the digits 2 squares across. But now we have an empty square before the decimal point, so we need to write a 0 in this empty square to show that we now have 600s and 8/10s. So our answer is 680. Now 8.06, we write the number out, copy down the decimal point, and to multiply by 100, we move the digits 2 squares across, so that's 806. And that answer makes sense, because we know that 8 times 100 is 800, and 8.06 is just a little bit more than 8, so our answer is just a little bit more than 800. Finally, we have 80.6 times 100. We write the number out, copy down the decimal point, and move each of our digits 2 squares across. Now we have an empty square before the decimal point, so we need to write a 0 to give us our answer, 8060. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that was helpful. If you're a teacher or a parent, then please subscribe or go to keystage2maths.com to download resources for this lesson and many more. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.